Hey friends, it's Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. I want to thank all of you who have sent me your caring words and prayers in my time of deep sorrow and loss. And I actually want to share with you a very poignant email from a healthy American who has so many helpful suggestions as we are going through these times that are so uh, difficult. And so many of you have told me about your tragedies, your losses. And I'm actually doing a program called Life After Loss. We only have one more class in our live series, and I will have a link for you if you're interested about that. And support is number one for me, having support from others. And that's what I really love about our Healthy Americans here on this channel. I'm so grateful for all of you. And I know I'm a little bit more somber currently. And all last week, I did a lot of replays because I was sorrowing in the loss of my teddy bear and Elsie. And I again want to thank all of you for that. Before we get underway in talking about help for the hurting, which is the topic of today's broadcast, I do want to remind you where you can get all of my information related to rabies and keeping your animals safe. That's what I was talking about last week. And it was a very popular series. And I want to let you know that if you go to peggyhall.substack.com, and if you click here under resources, you'll see that there is a post called Let's Talk About Rabies. And I have a lot of information about how you can not subject your animal to these horrors. And here we are. Here's my teddy bear. And I found her as an abandoned puppy, a few weeks old, dirty, starving. Here she is several days after that, a little better. And here she was in her prime. And sadly, she passed away at the age of 14. And as you saw here, also I think I have a picture of Elsie and Teddy. And my Elsie was 19 years old. And here she is. And I'm not sure if that will pop up, that photo, or not. But here she is. And I rescued her in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. You can see that they were aging animals. And my lovely ladies and Pastor David and I are sorrowing and grieving, as you can imagine. And regardless of what you've been going through, my heart and prayers go out to you as well. So I want to share with you this very compelling email called, or actually, I'm calling the broadcast today, Help for the Hurting. And this is a sponsored show. And I'm so grateful for my sponsors. This is a longtime sponsor I've had. This is over at noblegoldinvestments.com. You know, this is how I earn my daily bread. This is my full-time job, is doing my YouTube channel. And with their support, I'm able to bring you this information at no charge to you. So it's the expert advice you can get is 877-646-5347. And, you know, gold has gone up more than 81% in the last 5 years. That's astonishing. It is happening. Central banks are ditching the dollar, and U.S. treasuries are buying more gold. And the good news is that gold is predicted to go up even more. The investment bank UBS said that gold could go up to $5,000 per ounce. And Noble Gold Investments phone has been ringing off the hook. Give them a call if you just are the least bit curious. 877-646-5347. It seems like everyone wants to protect their retirement with gold, and you can do the same. You can get a free 1/4 ounce gold standard coin if you open a qualified account. So go to noblegoldinvestments.com. I'll have a link for you in the description box below. You'll speak to someone in the United States. You'll have a dedicated expert to help you every step of the way. noblegoldinvestments.com. Of course, all investment carries a risk. There's no guarantee of any kind, but speak to the experts at noblegoldinvestments.com. Friends, when we are in our time of deep sorrow, for me personally, I find it so helpful to have the caring support of others. And I know that not everybody has a support system. You may not have a spouse or a family member that is willing to hear your sorrows. And that is part of the reason that we have our Life After Loss course. It's quite interesting that right in the midst of this course, my husband and I suffered 2 devastating losses of our family members, our animals who are our family members. And I do understand that everyone grieves differently and every loss is significant. And I never recommend comparing or ranking losses. Each loss is significant to the person experiencing it. And what I'd like to do on this broadcast is share with you a very poignant email that came in from a Healthy American. And I'm so grateful for her. And she wrote and said, Peggy, I am so sad to hear of your loss. Actually, I wanted to let you know the reason I'm sharing this is I hope that her words are going to bring you that support and caring as they did for me. So she said, Peggy, I'm so sad to hear of your loss. And it's even hard when there are two losses so close together because my animals passed away within a week of each other. My heart goes out to you with deep prayers. It is truly overwhelming, and I'm sad that you have to go through this. Our own precious Missy, who was a Jack Russell Terrier, rat terrier, passed away at almost age 16, just about 2 weeks ago. And we had a wonderful vet who came to the house, and she was so caring. We had Missy since 2009, and she pulled me through many years at the beginning when my husband was out of town at the time. The best thing I can tell you is to accept whatever you're feeling. And I'm trying to do the same, as is my husband. We recently got a new kitty, and we knew our time was limited with Missy. And they got the kitty before Missy passed away. And this kitty has helped in our transition of extreme loss with our little girl, without our little girl, Missy. I cry a lot, and I feel anger at times and so many emotions. And I feel the empty shell that I can relate to, because my broadcast yesterday was called The Empty Shell. She writes, I feel like a huge part of myself is now gone, almost like I should also go. But of course, I know this isn't my time. So anyway, I just pray, I cry, and I just go through the best I can, as my husband does too, since he always was the one who got up early and took Missy for her walk. Actually, oddly enough, she writes, one of the things that helps is seeing Missy's pictures and videos, which I didn't expect to be able to handle until later. But we all have to follow our hearts to receive guidance from God on how to deal with such a big loss. So I want to pause for a moment in this email that I got, because I love what she wrote here. We all have to follow our hearts to receive guidance from God on how to deal with such a big loss. And as I'm reading, there's another portion here I want to read. I would love to hear from you if you have experienced a significant loss, and if there is something that you've done that has helped you with your grieving. My philosophy is that the loss is the wound, and the wound and the scar is always going to be there. You don't get over a loss. There is a wound, but there also is healing, and the healing comes from the grieving. And I literally was on the floor where Teddy would lay here right by my desk as I was filming. I thank the good Lord above that I work from home, and that I basically was home 24/7, and that both Teddy and Elsie would be on my window seat here. They were my constant companions, and it's my belief that they enjoyed hearing me broadcast because I was speaking, and they would be resting and sleeping in their final years. They did a lot of sleeping. And I was literally sobbing in the place where Teddy would lay. And that was part of my grieving. And there will be the ups and downs and the ebb and flow and the waves that just hit you. And everyone grieves differently. There are people that have no more tears to shed because of the losses that they've been through. There are people that are in anger phases, and ideally that does not, tend toward bitterness, but there is feelings of being distraught, of overwhelming anguish, of indescribable pain. And as I say, each individual goes through it differently. So let me continue with this email that brought me so much comfort, as did your caring messages. I read them, and I will continue to do so. I can't answer everyone personally, but please know that I do read those messages. So she goes on to say, we all have to follow our hearts to receive guidance from God on how to deal with such a big loss. She said, I may seek counseling, but I'm not sure yet. And that's another thing. Let me know if you've ever gotten professional help. There are very caring people that are trained, even in pet grief, and they can help you with that. So she goes on to say, I just find the things that give me peace. Like I have her name tag on my keychain. I love that idea. And I probably will do that with Teddy's as well. And she said, I was sleeping with her harness by me for the first 2 weeks. And I want to interrupt again because I think that's such a beautiful sentiment that she's writing about, having something with you that brings you comfort. And when my itty bitty passed away in 2022, it was also a deep time of sorrow. Many of you were on board with me at that time, and your cards and letters brought me such great comfort. And my itty bitty actually had her own pajamas. Now, she didn't wear the pajamas, but these were my pajamas. And because I rescued her also from Katrina as a little kitten, they both did not have the good fortune of being raised by a mama cat because they were both abandoned kittens, Elsie and Itty Bitty. And Itty Bitty would like to do her kneading on my arm, and it would get a little painful, and she would actually like to kind of nibble on my arm and try to nurse. So I would wear my pajamas, and then it gave me a little bit of a soft spot there for her as well. And then later, as she got older, Itty Bitty had to sleep on her pajamas or she wouldn't fall asleep. And she would sleep right between me and Pastor David. And the pajamas were right between us, and Itty Bitty would sleep on my hand, and I had to tickle her tummy as she fell asleep on her pajamas. And if the pajamas were not there, no one could sleep in the house until we found the pajamas. So that is just something that I wanted to share with you. And then at the end of the broadcast, I want to share with you something I call heavenly hugs. And I want to tell you about a couple that I saw as well. And that also brings me some degree of comfort. So going on with this lovely email, let me know if this is helpful for you as it is for me. She says, actually, the best thing that's helped me is to get some exercise. And I go to the gym and I walk on the treadmill. And she said, I listen to flat earth videos. Well, she's a healthy American. As I've said, I don't call myself a flat earther, although there's nothing wrong with that term. I know that it gets maligned in our communities here, but I do believe in a biblical description of the earth, which is a dome, and I don't have any evidence that it is spinning. And so I've spoken about that before. And the reason I mention it is it figures into the rest of her story. She said, this gets my mind thinking about other things, and the exercise truly helps release that stuck feeling. She said, perhaps this may help you. She writes, I plan to get a massage soon and some ozone health treatments, which are awesome because they help clear toxins from the body like nothing else does. Let me know if you've ever gotten the ozone health treatments. I wonder if that would help with all of the spraying they're doing in the skies. I definitely am interested in detoxing from, those chemicals. And then she says, I know the power of questions. And so I ask, how can I heal as God would want me to? What can I do to feel better? How can I help others in the process, etc.? She writes, sending you the deepest love and prayers for peace and thankfulness that we all had such a gift from God, and we will see our pets again. I just know it. That is one thing that helps pull me through. God bless you. And then she has a picture of her Missy wearing a flat earth necklace. I got to share this with you. She says, blessings to you and your husband. And here we go. Beautiful little Missy. May she rest in peace. There she is with her necklace. And she looks like the sweetest little girl. And my heart breaks for all of those that are suffering the loss. But I love how My Healthy American wrote this, that we have peace in our knowledge that we will see our pets again. And I know not everybody believes that, but God himself said so, that these animals are going to be in heaven, because he said all of his creation and everything he loves will be redeemed. And so I hold on to that as well. And then I wanted to share this with you, the concept of heavenly hugs. For me, heavenly hugs are these signs, and it can be people, it can be a location, it can be a situation, it can be an object, it can be an email, it can be a song. It's something that helps us remember our loved ones that have passed on. And I have so many that I'm going to be sharing in my Life After Loss class. And I just pray to God to show me, bring me comfort. Show me the way, Lord, show me the way is a prayer that I have. And when the day that my little Elsie passed away, and I was so distraught. And it's one of those crazy things where, something will show up online or on your phone or something like that. And here I came across this. It was called, and her name was Elsie for Lewis and Clark, Elsie, because she was such an adventurer. She was such a bold, brave, adventurous kitty right up to her final days. And it was just, she was the sweetest thing. And I came across this description of a construction company called LC. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, LC. And then as we're driving, my husband and I, he's like, look at the license plate in front of us. And the license plate was LC. Now, I call these heavenly hugs. And I have so many from my previous losses. I think I'm going to write a book. Let me know if you would love to share your heavenly hugs. People have other names for them. God winks. There was a book called God Winks. And you can email me support@thehealthyamerican.org or leave a comment with the heavenly hug that you've had. I've had so many. We need to have an entire broadcast on that. Maybe I'll do that on my Living Swell channel, which is my second channel here on YouTube. But I want to share this with you that I came across. It was shortly after Teddy Bear passed away, and I was so bereft. And one place where I find comfort is at the beach. And Pastor David and I, in our heavy sorrows, decided to just go to the beach and, seek solace in God's beautiful creation. And this is what I saw at the beach. Now, maybe it's just me, but this looks like a heart, and it's a beautiful shell. And I'm going to receive this as a heavenly hug from the good Lord above, that all is well. So that's what I have for you in this broadcast, friends. I actually have a second broadcast for you. And I'm so grateful to one of my Healthy Americans who is a huge animal advocate. In fact, she has been working against the horrible atrocities that occur in animal testing. And I've shared with you previous information from her newsletters and emails, and I will have this on a Substack for you. Coming up, I will be back on schedule. So thank you to everyone for your patience during this last week. I did not have the regular Substacks, although I am updating all of the rabies information. So my friend Britt has compiled some incredible research about other shots that we need to stay away from. And I've been speaking about rabies for our animals, and I'm so gratified to know that this has been beneficial for you. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit. We'll talk about another human shot and all of the shenanigans that have been trotted out along with that. And of course, I need to be a little sensitive on this channel. So as I call it, I have to outwit the nitwits in the algorithms and the censorship to make sure that I speak the truth in a way that you can receive. And we also can maintain the Healthy American presence on this channel, because this is where God wants me to be, to shine his light of truth when so many are still in darkness. And I'm so grateful to have you on board. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you to all of you for your caring words of support. And then we'll shift gears a little bit as we get into the week here. And I plan on having some broadcasts for you talking about more shenanigans and hogwash related to, cocktail safety, which doesn't make sense to me. It's like giving a condom to a rapist. Sorry to be blunt, but that's how I see it. And it troubles me when there are those in the health freedom movement that are pushing for safety testing. It makes no sense to me. And I know it doesn't make sense to you either. All right, stay tuned. I'll have this other broadcast for you coming right up, and I'll see you back here every day. Don't wait for the notifications, because Lord knows that YouTube is not sending them out, but I'm here at 4 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. And look forward to seeing everybody soon.